Hi K-pop lovers, welcome back to our channel. And hey Blinks, before we start today's video, don't forget to like, share this with every Blink you know, and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below and tell me how you're feeling about everything happening with the girls lately. Because trust me, today's topic might change the way you see Blackpink's future forever. There's one word that has been haunting fans for months: deadline. When YG Entertainment first announced the name of Blackpink's New World Tour back in May 2025, the entire fandom froze. Deadline. Out of all possible names, why that one? It didn't sound celebratory. It didn't sound like a comeback. It sounded final. And ever since that moment, one question has been stuck in every Blink's mind. Is this the end of Blackpink? Now, as we approach the final shows of the tour at Kai-Tak Stadium in Hong Kong, the fear feels even more real. January 24th, 25th, and 26th, 2026. 3 final nights. 3 last concerts. It almost feels like a goodbye. But before we jump to conclusions, let's slow down and look at the full picture. Because the truth? It's much more beautiful than you think. Let's rewind to the beginning. When the Deadline World Tour was officially announced, it wasn't just another tour. It was marketed as Blackpink's first all-stadium tour. Not arenas. Stadiums. That's huge. Only the biggest artists in the world can fill stadiums. And Blackpink wasn't just testing 1 or 2 cities, they went global. The tour kicked off in South Korea, then moved across North America and Europe. They performed at legendary venues like SoFi Stadium, Citi Field, and Wembley Stadium. And here's something historic. They became the first K-pop girl group ever to headline Wembley. That's not just impressive. That's history. During the London show, they even paid tribute to Spice Girls by performing Wannabe. It felt symbolic. One legendary girl group honoring another. Almost like a passing of the torch. By the time the tour reached Asia, over 1 million fans had already attended. Reports say the tour grossed more than $200 million. Groups that are ending don't usually sell out stadiums worldwide. So again, why call it deadline? To understand that, we need to go back to 2023, the scariest year for Blinks. That was when Blackpink's original 7-year contracts expired. For months, nobody knew what would happen. Every news article caused panic. Every rumor made fans nervous. Would they disband? Would someone leave? Then finally, the announcement came. All 4 members, Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa, renewed their contracts. But with one twist. They renewed only for group activities. Individually, they were free. At first, that sounded risky. Fans worried it might slowly pull them apart. But what happened next surprised everyone. Instead of drifting away, each member exploded. Rosé dropped her solo music and even collaborated with Bruno Mars, landing huge global success. Lisa launched her own company and even stepped into acting through The White Lotus. Jennie built her own label and performed solo at Coachella, something very few K-pop artists have ever done alone. Jisoo balanced music and acting while growing her personal brand. Individually, they weren't just idols anymore. They became CEOs, creators, artists, businesswomen, and honestly, that's powerful. But still, one question remained. Would they ever come back together? Then in July 2025, it finally happened. Blackpink released Jump, their first group song in almost 2 years. And what happened? It debuted at #1 globally. Just like that, they reminded the world, Blackpink together is different. It's magic. During the Deadline tour, each member had her own solo stage. You could clearly see how much they had grown individually. But when the 4 stood on stage together, the energy changed. The crowd got louder. The lights felt brighter. The chemistry was undeniable. Because no matter how successful they are alone, together, there's something bigger. Even producers like Diplo praise them as one of the biggest acts in the world right now. And then came the moment that completely changed everything. January 14th, 2026. Right before the tour ended, Blackpink officially announced a brand new EP titled Deadline. Yes, Deadline isn't the last chapter. It's the title of their next album. The release date? February 27th, 2026. only 1 month after the tour ends.
Think about that.
If this were really the end, would they release new music right after? Of course not. This isn't a goodbye. It's a bridge. The tour builds excitement. The album starts a new era. It's actually genius marketing. And there's something even more special. 2026 marks 10 years since Blackpink debuted. A whole decade. 10 years of breaking records. 10 years of selling out tours. 10 years of changing K-pop history. From becoming the first girl group to headline Coachella, to topping Billboard charts, to dominating fashion as global ambassadors, they've done everything. Groups with this level of impact don't just disappear. They evolve. And that's exactly what Blackpink is doing. They're not stuck in the old K-pop system anymore. They've built something smarter. A model where they can shine solo and reunite whenever they want. It's freedom. It's longevity. It's sustainability. So when you really think about it, maybe deadline doesn't mean an ending at all. Maybe it means a promise. A promise that they'll come back. A promise that they still have stories to tell. A promise that Blackpink isn't finished yet. So, Blinks, if you've been worried if that word made your heart sink a little, take a breath. This isn't goodbye. It's see you soon. The tour ends. The EP begins. And a new chapter starts. Blackpink isn't disappearing. They're just leveling up. Because Blackpink in your area isn't just a slogan anymore. It's a promise. And they're here to stay.